I'm Professor Darius. Welcome to African Elements. The lynching of Emmett Till in 1955 shocked America and has remained a painful part of our history. It's a history that still has resonance today. Now, United Artists and Orion Pictures have teamed up to release a new movie titled Till, which tells the story of the 14-year-old black boy lynched in Mississippi. From director Chinonye Chukwu and starring Danielle Deadwyler and Jalyn, Till is a new film based on the true events of the lynching of Emmett Louis Till. Set during the summer of 1955, Till was just 14 years old at the time of his murder while visiting his family in Money, Mississippi. After allegedly whistling at a white woman, young Emmett was dragged from his family's home, beaten, and shot dead. His killers then threw his body into the Tallahatchie River. Going in, I was concerned that this movie might lean heavily on graphic depictions of the torture and murder of a 14-year-old boy. I wasn't super interested in watching trauma porn. When I refer to trauma porn, I'm speaking of a film that shows intense pain and suffering from torture or death. It appeals to a morbid fascination with graphic images of pain and torture, but many justify it as raising awareness. Mel Gibson's 2004 film The Passion of the Christ, which Comedy Central's South Park famously referred to as a snuff film, strikes me as a particularly good example. Some include movies like The Colored Purple or Precious in this category. The problem is that trauma porn tends to desensitize and normalize extreme violence rather than raising awareness. While the gruesome aftermath of Emmett Till's murder was depicted because it was essential to the story, to my relief there were no visual depictions of Emmett Till's brutal lynching. That's not what this film is about. So, what is Till about? Till focuses on the relationship between a mother and her son, and it does a brilliant job in doing so. Emmett Till's mother, Mamie Elizabeth Carthen, was born in Mississippi in 1921. While still a child, she moved with her family to Chicago. There she met and married Louis Till, and the couple had a single child, Emmett Louis Till. After her husband's death while fighting overseas in World War II, Mamie and her son Emmett formed a close bond. Through Mamie till-mobley's perspective, Till walks us through her strong bond with her son and the feeling of enormous loss at having that bond ripped away from her. Mamie then has to deal with her intense grief while being shoved onto a national stage. The film follows Mamie's arc from a grieving mother forced to expose herself on camera to a nationwide audience to the mother of a national justice movement. Those who know me in the classroom know I'm a sucker for nuance and complexity. Till also delivers in that regard. Previously, in discussing the strengths and limitations of the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, or NAACP, I discussed their tendency towards respectability politics as one of their limitations. For example, the NAACP quickly jumped to the defense of Rosa Parks, who they saw as a church-going, upstanding community citizen, after her arrest for violating Montgomery, Alabama's segregated busing law. The organization was not so quick to jump to the defense of Claudette Colvin after her arrest for violating the same law. The NAACP shied away from Colvin, fearing she might represent the organization poorly because she was an unwed teen mother. Till portrays the NAACP and its preoccupation with respectability in a scene depicting an early meeting with Emmett Till's mother. Because this is a non-spoiler review, I won't go into detail, but the film does address the issue. Given the director does bring up the issue of respectability politics, she makes what I thought was an odd and even ironic choice in how she depicts Emmett Till's great uncle, Mose Wright. Mose Wright was an uneducated sharecropper who spoke like an uneducated sharecropper. There's nothing wrong with that, but the film has him speaking proper English to the point of actually changing a critical aspect of his courtroom testimony. Historical accounts from those in the courtroom vividly recall the pivotal moment when Wright stood up from the witness chair to identify the man who abducted Emmett Till, pointed his finger, and said, "Dar he." However, in the film he stands and says, in standard English, "There he is." I don't understand the director's decision here. In a way, it diminished the impact of this poor, uneducated sharecropper and the courage it took for him to stand up to white power in Mississippi. Another decision the director made that is one that I questioned at the moment when I was watching the film. In light of what takes place later on in the film, though, it does make sense. There are conflicting versions of what happened during the incident at Bryant's grocery store leading up to Till's lynching. According to some accounts, he wolf-whistled the store owner's wife and cashier, Carolyn Bryant. Others say that, essentially on a dare after ringing up his candy, Till referred to the woman as baby. While it's unclear what actually took place, instead of leaving it ambiguous, the film director does pick a lane and portrays a combination of the two versions. Later on in the film, it becomes clear why she had to show some version of what happened in order for something else to happen later in the movie that takes place during the trial. I'm not going to spoil what that is, but looking back, I do understand why she made that decision. Speaking of nuance, Till also broaches the complexity of others involved in Till's murder besides Roy Bryant and J.W. Milam, the two defendants on trial. Again, as this is a non-spoiler review, I won't discuss that in detail, but it was a very bold decision on the director's part to include that. Should you watch Till? To be honest, Jalyn Hall's performance as Emmett Till was just kind of okay. Still, with the film centered on Mamie Till, Danielle Deadwyler's performance portraying Till's mother was phenomenal. The film's purpose is to have the audience feel her intense connection with her son and the profound loss she experienced due to his murder. Deadwyler's performance absolutely succeeds at that. Whoopi Goldberg also delivers a strong performance as Mamie Till's mother, and Sean Patrick Thomas's performance as Mamie's partner, till-mobley, also stands out. Their on-screen chemistry was palpable, and as an audience member, you can definitely feel the love between them. I recommend Till not only for its performances, but because of the nuance, complexity, and the many important conversations it stirs. I should also say that while not its focus, the film doesn't shy away from addressing the reality of racism in the North. Till raises much-needed discussion in its portrayal of movements, the nature of the Jim Crow South, and how Black people dealt with the burden of grief, while at the same time seeking relief from oppression. I'm Professor Darius, and I highly encourage you to watch and support this film. Let me know in the comments below what your thoughts are on Till. I'd very much like to have a conversation on some of the issues it brings up. Thanks again to my supporters on Patreon for making this channel possible. If you'd like to join them for as little as $1 a month and get early access to ad-free videos, click the link below in the description. Otherwise, you can support this content for free with a like, comment, share, and subscribe. Either way, thank you for watching, and until next time, I'll see you in the comments.